This is the next in my series of videos that'll be dealing with, in this case, the AFC West, which should be a fascinating division, and of course, specifically, a team that I think may have a good chance to finish as high as second, the Las Vegas Raiders. And of course, the most notable thing that's happened for them is the addition of two players, one via trade, of course, that being Davante Adams, who has now been reunited with his college teammate, his college quarterback, Derek Carr, and of course they've also added Chandler Jones to defense, which allows Max Crosby to go from being the man as a pass rusher to the man next to the man, or I guess across the line from the man. I'm going to walk through their depth chart and then talk about their now somewhat depleted draft resources they can use to still add to the team. So obviously, at wide receiver they have Davante Adams, as previously mentioned, who came by way of Green Bay. They also have Demarcus Robinson, Dylan Stoner, Brian Adams, who is probably going to be the Z, Mac Hollins, who's mostly going to be a special teamer but is a backup, Tyron Johnson, Hunter Renfrow, of course, will mostly be in the slot, and DJ Turner. So that's their wide receivers. They have an excellent tight end, obviously, in Derek Waller, and Derek Waller is going to be backed up by Foster Moreau, who's also a very good backup. They have Jacob Hollister as well on the roster. Obviously, there's a bit of a drop off from their starter, Derek Carr, to Nick Mullins, the backup, who some may remember from his days in 49ers. So, obviously familiar to some fans. Then, here's what I think is the crux of their offense, the offensive line. They have still left tackle Colton Miller, backed up by John Simpson and Lester Cotton. They have also, Brandon Parker is backing up Colton Miller. They have Denzel Good at left guard. He's backed up by Cotton and Simpson. Then Andre James, Brett Hedgie, and Ronis Grasu. Remember those? Got him from the Oregon days draft Twitter? Yes, that Ronis Grasu. Jermaine Elmanures at right tackle. And Alex Bars and Jamon Meredith, another former draft Twitter favorite out of South Carolina. Alex Leatherwood is manning right tackle, and then he's backed up by Parker, and also they've got Jackson Barton. As I mentioned previously, they have good depth most places, except maybe the offensive line on offense. Josh Jacobs and, of course, Kenyon Drake are manning the running back position, and they even have a fullback. I guess they have two on the roster, Jacob Johnson and Sutton Smith. To me, they're as good as their defense. So they'll go as far as the defense will take them. Jonathan Hankins and Bilal Nichols are on the inside. I already talked about their two pass rushers. They also have Denzel Perryman, Divine Diablo, which is one of my favorite names in football. They also have Trayvon Mullen, Jonathan Abram, who is sort of at an interesting sort of parting point in his career. Either he's going to show he can stay healthy and be a productive player, or he's going to be considered soon a bust. Rock Ya-Sin, who came, of course, by way of Indianapolis. One of my favorite corners in the draft when he came out was Illinois' Nate Hobbs. They have him. Amik Robertson backs him up and will also be a guy that might come on in certain dime and nickel packages. They also have Craven LeBlanc, who, of course, Chicago fans will be very familiar with. Tyree Gillespie also is amongst the depth pieces, and Anthony Averett, who came over by way of Baltimore. So, if their defense can go from being very much below average to at least average, they have a real chance. And then let's touch on their draft. Now, they only have a handful of draft picks, but in round 3, they have pick 86. Round 4, they have pick 126, then 164 in round 5. In round 6, they have pick 165, so 164, 165. And then they finish off with pick 227 in round 7. Now, they have struggled in the past sometimes to make the right selection in the draft. But if they do draft well with the pieces they've added, they have a legitimate chance to win 11 or 12 games. And I think they have a good chance to finish second in the AFC West.